As a parent, there are just a million things to worry about. Am I doing this right? Are they happy? But I think one of the deepest, most quiet fears we have is seeing our child on the sidelines of life. Watching the other kids play, just too afraid to join in.
That's a fear that can just sit on your chest, can't it?
Oh, yeah.
The feeling that your child's world is, smaller than it should be, and you don't know how to make it bigger.
And Sarah, if I can be honest as your friend, I remember a time when I had that worry for your son Leo. He was always such a sweet, gentle soul, but he seemed almost afraid of his own shadow.
Oh, Mark, you're not wrong. And you're so kind to put it that way. Afraid of his own shadow. That was it exactly. At birthday parties, he wouldn't just be shy. He would physically hide behind my leg. His first grade teacher once told me, in that careful way teachers do, he's a brilliant boy, but he's invisible.
Oh, wow.
She said, he never raises his hand, never speaks up. It was a dagger to my heart. I felt like this vibrant, funny, incredible person was locked inside him.
Right.
And I, his mom, didn't have the key.
Which is precisely why I knew I had to talk to you today, because the Leo I saw at the school picnic last weekend.
Yeah?
I mean, I honestly did a double take. He was in the middle of this huge group of kids, leading some complicated game, laughing, assigning roles.
Wow.
He was the center of gravity. I just stood there thinking, who is that kid? What on earth happened?
That's the real Leo. That's the kid who was finally let out to play. The honest-to-goodness answer is, I found a key. After months of late-night worrying, I stumbled across a program by a man named Dr. Joe Rubino. It's called the High Self-Esteem Kids program.
Okay, I have to admit, my skeptic alarm goes off a little when I hear about programs like that online.
Oh, totally.
The internet is just so full of grand promises.
And mine did too. 100%. But what made me pause was Dr. Rubino's core idea about where low self-esteem even comes from. He explained that it often starts before a child is even 6, from a single moment, an unkind word, a bullying episode, or even just a misinterpretation that plants this tiny seed of belief that they are somehow flawed or unlovable. And from that day on, they start building this protective shell around that belief.
And not resonated with you when you thought about Leo.
It was like a giant floodlight turning on in a dark room. In that instant, I stopped seeing his shyness as his personality and started seeing it as this heavy shell he was carrying.
Right.
Suddenly, it wasn't a life sentence, it was a problem to be solved. And the program wasn't about useless platitudes like, oh, just be more confident.
Yeah.
It was a practical, step-by-step toolkit to actually help him dismantle that shell piece by piece.
A toolkit. I'm intrigued. What does that actually look like? What did you and Leo physically do?
So it's a set of downloadable audios and videos and a really comprehensive ebook. It's all very straightforward. We started a new ritual. We'd listen to one of the short audio lessons in the car on the way to school.
Oh, that's nice.
It became our special time, and more than anything, it gave us a shared language. We started talking about what he began to call his worry voice.
The worry voice. I love that. Giving it a name. It separates it from him.
Exactly. The program calls it negative self-talk, and it gives you what Dr. Rubino calls an antidote.
An antidote.
It's a simple but powerful process. We'd practice identifying that voice when it whispered, they won't like you, or you'll mess up.
Right.
We'd acknowledge it, thank you for trying to keep you safe, and then together consciously choose a more powerful, supportive thought to replace it.
It sounds like this was something you were doing with him, not to him.
Firmly. That was the most important part. We were a team on a mission. But the real, life-altering turning point was a module on what the program calls the art of visioning. Instead of just worrying about the next scary social situation, we sat down together and I guided him through an exercise.
Okay.
We said, okay, close your eyes. Let's imagine the Leo you want to be. He described in vivid detail walking into that noisy school cafeteria and asking to join a table of kids he didn't know.
Wow, he could actually visualize that.
He did more than that. He described the feeling of his heart beating fast, the imaginary squeak of his shoes on the floor, and then the smiles on the other kids' faces as they moved over to make room for him. He described the feeling of relief just washing over him. It was like a mental dress rehearsal.
That is incredibly powerful, but the million-dollar question, Sarah, did it translate to the real world?
Softly emotional. About a week later, he came home from school, and he wasn't just walking, he was practically floating. He just looked at me, and he was glowing. He said, "Mom, I did it. I sat with new kids at lunch today. It was scary for a second, but then it was just fun." He told me he remembered our vision, and because he'd already lived it in his mind, it felt familiar.
Wow.
Mark, I had to go into the laundry room because I just burst into tears.
Of course you did.
It was the first time I saw him take control of his fear instead of letting his fear control him. It was the first time I saw the key turn in the lock.
That is an unbelievable transformation. It's like he learned how to become his own coach.
That's the perfect way to put it. The program gives them the tools to coach themselves through fear and self-doubt for the rest of their lives.
Right.
And what's amazing is he's still my thoughtful, kind, sensitive Leo. His core personality hasn't changed at all, but the shell is gone. He has a solid group of friends. He raises his hand and argues for his ideas in class. He isn't afraid to be seen anymore. He's not a different kid. He's just a free version of the kid who was there all along. The program didn't give him confidence. It just helped us uncover the confidence that was already his.
Now, here's a question we'd like you to think about. What is one limiting belief, maybe one that started in your own childhood, that you wish you had the tools to rewrite for yourself or for your children?